to come in with that sense of childlike wonder.
The other thing is that, as we've been discovering, I often think that some of this is going to be so much better on third viewing. And if I think, if I had my way, everybody who bought one ticket would get 3, because it's, as I say, so dense and goes by so quickly that you're going to miss stuff. It's just simply too hard to pay that kind of concentrated attention over that length of time. We're going to have to do that, and that's why we're paid. But we're not going to dilly-dally. We're not going to wait for you. And you're going to think, my God, I'm so glad I'm a little familiar with this play, because there's stuff to be mined here. Oh, my stars, it's going by so quickly. Right. This is the real deal. I would say that every time you can get a chance to see this play, see it. And each time it'll add a layer of richness, a layer of understanding that, well, only makes your life worth living.
Well, so you heard it here. Colm Feore says buy 3 tickets.
Absolutely.
And you know what? There are programs where, our TICS program, you can pretty much buy 3 tickets for the price of 1 other ticket, right? The tickets are $29 for this production. $29? In the balcony, that's right, and fantastic seats.
Where Des has actually directed me to play most of the show.
There you go.
I'm having visions up there, and it's going to be a prime place.
That's good. Now, okay, we couldn't avoid this kind of question. Here we go. Colm,
yes, sir.
Your thoughts on being in the movies versus plays. Which suits your talents better, or which do you feel more comfortable with? And of course, how'd you get on with Angelina?
Angelina is an extraordinary actress, and she seemed to me a very fine human being. She was a hell of a broad. She was always there on set, ready to go, and standing by with all the rest of us. She just mucked in. It may have had something to do that with the fact that we were working for Clint Eastwood. It starts there. However, doing film versus theater, I find the two of them very complementary. I have taken a lot of what I learned in the theater, particularly using a great writer, and applied it to times when the writing hasn't been quite as good. And conversely, and this is something I feel particularly about the festival stage, Shakespeare's the most cinematic writer in the theater, I think, and our stage is the most cinematic stage. It's a place where, instead of it being proscenium in 2 dimensions, we are 3 dimensions. We are thrust out, right? So you're acting completely, fully, 3-dimensionally the moment you leave your dressing room. And because you're alone with not much set or decoration to hide behind, exposed out there, you can control whether it's a wide shot, medium shot, intimate, or an extreme close-up. You control all of that cinematically as an actor alone on that stage. And so I found the cross-pollination between the two really quite seamless, and I hope that my talents will continue to suit both, because it's a balance that pleases me.
Well, you've had a lot of experience in both. And Des, you've worked with a lot of famous people, Colm included, individuals who've worked a lot on movie. What's your sense in terms of the process of working with this company here on this festival stage? What are the good things and the not so good things in your view?
I think great actors, talking about moving back and forth between film and the stage and television, I think great actors are great actors, and if you have that a talent for acting, you can learn, you can acquire the skill to work in any of these forms, and I think Colm's exactly right. I think you could argue that actors on stage create a universe with their senses that's kind of without, and that perhaps the key to film acting is to allow that universe to happen within, and to let the camera come to you. But I find first of all, obviously I love actors. I've spent most of my life with actors. I'm fascinated by that artist that can't put the instrument down. You can't say, little Johnny, come to dinner, put the violin down the way you can with a musician. Actors are essentially trapped inside their instruments, and and they're very delicate and complex instruments. I think the company here is really fabulous, and getting to know actors in this kind of depth is a true privilege. We spend a great deal of time together. The fact that we stand a chance. We just came from looking at a little bit of West Side Story. Colm's working on Cyrano simultaneously. I'm directing. A funny thing happened on the way to the Forum, going off to Plautus and Stephen Sondheim tomorrow. This is a really a remarkable place to work, and that's of course the reason I'm here as artistic director.
Okay, let's wrap up, but there's a question, recommendations for a first-time viewer. All right, you're doing Forum, you're doing the Scottish play, you're doing Cyrano, you're doing Macker's. If you were just coming into the season, what would you recommend somebody see? I mean, obviously those 4 plays, but what else would you recommend for people to see in this season that interests you?
Well, I think, we're going to see everything because we want to, I certainly want to see everything because I want to see what everybody else is up to and steal their best stuff. That's what actors do. But having said that, it's very hard for, which of your kids do you love the best?
Right.
Could we really say that? I think there's going to be extraordinary stuff to be seen on all of the stages from all of the companies. As Des says, it's a phenomenal company this year. There's great plays. It really is. Just put the plays up on your fridge and hurl a magnet at them. Go to that one first. And then as the magnet drips down and catches the others, just keep buying tickets. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
So Brian Bedford goes to the trouble of wearing a dress, and you still don't give him a recommendation.
I was hoping the dress would be a surprise to people. Brian in a dress?
Des, out of all the things you programmed in this season, what are some of the things that you're really excited about?
I think I'm very excited about the Canadian season at the studio. I think we've commissioned a number of plays this year. I think it's important to do contemporary work side by side with the great classics. It's important that we have writers in our halls, and I think we're going to make a really concerted effort to do more and more of that in the coming season. So the fact that we're doing an all-Canadian season is really exciting. I'm thrilled that you're doing Bartholomew Fair.
I'm thrilled I'm doing it. It's delicious.
Which is, we've made a kind of a pact here that we're going to do Shakespeare's contemporaries, Middleton and Messenger and Chris Marlowe and Kidd and of course Ben Jonson. We entered into the Spanish Golden Age last year. I think that was wildly successful. And I think if you're going to really understand Shakespeare, it's important to recognize that he was part of a scene and not just an individual. He was by far first among equals, but we're trying to create a landscape here that allows people to better appreciate his place. There's a lot that I'm excited about, both the musicals, the 2 Shakespearean musicals, West Side Story from Romeo and Juliet and Forum, which is certainly influenced by Comedy of Errors. So there's a lot to be excited about this year.
The other day when you came to the start of Bart Fair, you talked about the responsibility that we have to make sure that the number of classics we're handing to the next generation is a larger number.
Absolutely.
We keep introducing more and more and exploring more and more. I thought that was very, very evocative of what we should be doing. It was fantastic. So, all right, I want to thank you both for doing this, for taking the time, because you've had a long day. You've got another long day tomorrow, and I think that this is terrific that we've got this for people.
We've got a long night.
Yes, coming up.